Well, apparently all things have to come to an end, and this is what we found out tonight. It really is the end of an era. Manchester City are not in the Carabao Cup anymore. We are out after winning it 4 years in a row, and it feels surreal. And honestly, I'm genuinely a little bit gutted. I am genuinely a little bit upset. It's been an awful long time. It's been most of my relationship with my wife that Manchester City have been winning the Carabao Cup. It's been that long. It's been absolutely crazy. And 5 years to the day yesterday since we lost last a tie. But that's where we're at. And I'm going to go through that and talk about it in a little bit more detail. I would like to say, if you don't mind cheering me up a tiny bit, if you want to face any Manchester City news or general football news, please download OneFootball in the link in the description below. It'd be massively appreciated. Just do it just to put a smile on little old Stephen's face here. It'd be massively appreciated. You get all your City news, all your stats, and all the stats from across the world of football as well, all your transfer gossip and all that kind of stuff. And of course, the January transfer window is getting close now. So click the link in the description, or you can get your phone out and scan the QR code on my face. Oh, not on my face. That'd be weird if it's on my face. Next to my face to download it as well. Please go and do that and help support my channel. It helps support a lifelong blue if you don't mind. And it'd be a damn sight better than that performance tonight. I'll get onto the performance in a little bit, and I'll talk mainly about how it feels to lose this game. And of course it stings. Of course it does. I mean, we're out the Carabao Cup. I mean, I tweeted there's literally been kids that have been born, grown up, then gone to school since the last time someone won the Carabao Cup. It's been Manchester City's for that long, and only constant sponsorship extensions stopped it being from Manchester City's very own trophy. Like, obviously, the Carabao's meant to be 3 years, and then extended for another year, and then extended it again. So someone else is going to win the Carabao, unfortunately. I know it's just the EFL Cup in general, but I was hoping no one else would ever win the League Cup, just on Manchester City on the Carabao name, but it's not happened. It's been a long time, and I, to be honest, I've got an awful lot of fondness for this competition, mainly because I enjoy watching the youngsters break through in this competition. People like Cole Palmer, who played tonight, Phil Foden, of course, it was such a huge part of his development, and I enjoy Wembley in late February. I enjoy watching Manchester City lift trophies. I will never get bored of that. I never, ever will I get bored of that. I've been there, with Nicola, my wife, and I've been there with my dad watching it, and I've sang songs with City fans, and when you win it mid-season, that little boost it gives you towards the business end of the season, I can't deny it's really good. But we've done it a lot, and actually, to be honest, even though the players were really up for it towards the end, and I think they did go for the win, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not too gutted. I think they will be gutted because they wanted that 5 times in a row record. But ultimately, we've had our fill. I really, really love cake. But if we had it for 4 or 5 years in a row, I'd be gutted if someone said you're not going to have it this year. But I'd be like, well, I've had a lot of cake, and you can't always have, everything at the same time. And as disappointed as I am, I don't think it was an abysmal performance or anything like that. I think West Ham are a good side, and I think we played relatively well, I think at some point the writing was going to be on the wall, and this was it. It's bad news for our rivals. We're going to be fresher around January. Unfortunately for them, it's a few extra less games, which is only good news for us in terms of the other competitions. I do feel a tiny bit of guilt. I did say in my season preview that I did think we were going to win the Carabao this year. Unfortunately, I felt like we were going to lose it, and that's happened. And I feel responsible, so I'm sorry for that. I really do feel responsible. But on the flip side, I did say I think we might win the Champions League this year, so let's revisit this in May, I guess. But overall, all good things must come to an end, and this has come to an end tonight. And it wasn't an embarrassing way. West Ham were a good side, difficult away. They brought on a lot of their stronger players, and as soon as it went to penalties, there was always that overriding feeling that this was going to be a very difficult night, because penalties aren't really for us, are they? You can watch my watch along for proof, but as soon as Foden grabbed the ball straight away, I was like, he's going to miss. I was absolutely certain. He's not in great form in front of goal at the moment, and he doesn't scream self-confidence from the penalty spot to me, and so it proved. But it doesn't matter. You're not going to make a pariah out of Phil Foden. He's one of the best players in the world football right now. Missed a penalty, so be it. You learn from that kind of stuff. This is what it is. And we've actually won quite a few penalty shootouts under Guardiola, weirdly, but this time it was a step too far. In terms of the performance, it was disjointed in the first half. I can't deny that. There's too many subs, too many changes and all that kind of stuff. And you got your typical Carabao kind of performance, really. I mean, if it was against a lesser team, you'd be fine. If it wasn't against a team that's currently in form and playing in front of a vociferous crowd at the Olympic Stadium in London, then maybe it'd be a different outcome whatsoever, full stop. But that wasn't to be. Life was different, and And fair play, West Ham fans are a good bunch of lads, Hopefully they get to Wembley. I hope they do get there because I would like it. I've got a friend, who I do videos with on the Games channel who's watching this. Andy, if you are, I'm happy for you, man. I think West Ham are a good side and they've got some really likeable players. I hope they get there to the final and I hope they win it, actually. It'd be nice for West Ham. But I'm gutted and I wish West Ham were having the bad night tonight. Of course I do. It's weird because it's such part of our identity these days, this trophy, and I really do care about it that much. But you can't have something forever. And someone else has got to have it, I do find it funny that all these fans of opposition teams jumped on us going, you went out. I was like, can you really preach about going out the Carabao? Where have you been for the past few years? So I don't think any fans of other teams can get on the high horse about the Carabao, man. You've all been pretty pathetic in that competition. It's been ours. Finally, it's a bit like, someone's dad playing the kid at football and winning 5-0 and the kid scores and like, I've scored. She's like, well, you're still losing 5-1, pal. It's like, come on, be realistic here. I can't really be too critical of the overall performance. It's weird. People could turn around and go, backup players aren't that good. This proves that. No, I don't think it's as simple as that, to be honest. I think if you make that many changes for any team in the world, you put in players who don't play regularly together in terms of the first team very often. And what I mean by that is partnerships. So, how often does Ake play alongside Stones with Zinchenko? It doesn't happen very often. It rarely does. And how often does, do we see in midfield Fernandinho there full stop with Gundogan and De Bruyne? It's not much. We never see a forward line of Sterling, Palmer and Mahrez. These are all partnerships that have never developed before. And if you do all this and change this many players, there's no routine. A lot of these players are lacking fluidity and match fitness and so on and sharpness. So they haven't got anyone else to bounce off who's currently there. We had a backup keeper, of course, as well. So it's always hard to assess a game when you make that many changes because there's too many variables, too many things, and I can't be bothered to turn around and slate anyone for it. I think some players didn't have good games, some players were better. People mentioned, in the chat afterwards about Kevin De Bruyne not playing at his very best. It's probably true. Am I concerned about KDB yet? Not yet. I think there are obviously concerns there in general, but I wouldn't say I'm overly concerned. Come back to me with Kevin De Bruyne around January or something like that is what I would say. If he's still playing bad late into December, I don't think he played bad tonight. I think he played sloppily and he had some good moments. But if he's still playing bad around then I'll be concerned. But I've been here before. We did it with Guerrero once, he's done. Then he found form and scored a bunch of goals. We did it with Kompany once, he's done, get rid of him. And then, he led us to that 14-game winning streak at the end of the season. We've been here before is what I'm getting at, We've done it before. And I'm not going to rule someone like Kevin De Bruyne, as intelligent a footballer as he is, for a few bad games, It's very possible that De Bruyne has only just got out of pain or is still in pain. And if he gets past that, it could be that his body doesn't quite react to how he wants it to at the moment. So good players usually find a way to adapt their game because they're intelligent and experienced enough. And I will give Kevin De Bruyne that time to either one, get fit, or two, realise what he can and can't do anymore and adapt his game accordingly. And what I would say, if Guardiola thinks the best way to get Kevin De Bruyne involved in games or fit is to play him, so be it. And I trust Guardiola on that because Guardiola should have our trust, let's be honest. He gets most things right, more than pretty much anyone else. So, largely it doesn't really cost us. I don't think he was culpable. The one positive for me tonight probably was Cole Palmer. I thought Cole Palmer had a good game, a good 75-minute run off. Obviously, not everything he tried came off tonight, but there was a couple of really nice turns, like on the half turn, which was very Phil Foden-esque. A couple of drive forwards where he made a gorgeous chance of Gundogan. He did a lovely little runway, jinked through, and then did a 1-2 with Sterling. Unfortunately, he blasted his shot over the goal. But it was a really nice little bit of play, and in a position that he's not overly familiar with as well as a false nine. I thought Cole Palmer did himself. I thought he was better than some of our senior players on the pitch. I thought he had a better game than Mahrez and Sterling. So, and they're senior forwards, and I think he had a better game as well probably than De Bruyne. So that's impressive. And the best thing you can say about a young player like Cole Palmer is that, do they look like they belong? Does he look like another first team player? He does. If he changed his face and said that was De Bruyne, no one would have questioned it, and likewise any of the other senior players. It was just one of those games. I'm disappointed, but I don't think there's any much point pulling the performance apart too much because it was just a typical game. Wasted a few chances, typical Carabao game when you've made loads of changes and so on. You could sit and dissect it, but there was no point because this team isn't going to be playing next week. We know that at the weekend this isn't going to be anything like this, anything close to like this, and we know this isn't Manchester City. This is Manchester City's backups getting some game time, while other people rest. So in that instance, I can't criticise it because it's not the team. It's there's a big asterisk there, you know. And I'm not saying you're not allowed to criticise performance. I guess what I'm saying is I can't look for a problem because there isn't. That's not the first team. You know, that was the team we tried to get through and do a job, and we won't see them again now. We won't see them until we have maybe an FA Cup game, or until we have a dead rubber in the Champions League or something like that. But that's not a team I have to worry about now because that isn't Manchester City's team. We know, Jesus is going to start. We know Foden's going to start. Grealish will play more. Rodri, Bernardo, Diaz, Laporte. Walker and Cancelo will start with Edison. We know that's a totally different team, and that team plays tonight. Of course, we win. So. It's not essentially. There's nothing to judge Manchester City on, if that makes sense. It's just played the reserves, didn't get away with it, got to penalties. Good West Ham side, good crowd. That's life. We have to move on, unfortunately. But I am disappointed. Of course I am. I wanted 5 in a row, and I wanted that. We didn't get it. We were out of the Carabao. Not shamefully or anything like that. We're not good at penalties. We scored 3 of them, actually, which is quite impressive. But Phil, unfortunately, he's had a bit of a setback. And to be honest with Phil, it won't be the worst thing in the world. Everything's been very good for Phil Foden in life so far. He's won the Young Player of the Year after only half a season performances. We're being fair to him. He's won an awful lot of trophies, 10 trophies already at the tender age of 21. The best players that react to setbacks, and all the best players have setbacks at some point. And this is a little small one tonight for Phil Foden, but I've got absolutely zero doubt whatsoever that this young Stockport Iniesta, this quality footballer, will bounce back and be fine. And he'll probably score at the weekend, knowing Phil. But guys, I'm disappointed. Couldn't be asked doing a live match reaction because I couldn't be asked watching just fans of teams who've not won the Carabao for ages try and give me beef over it. I don't give a shit. I couldn't be asked getting distracted by the live comments and watching the fallout. People going, he's shit, this player's shit, that player's shit, this player's shit, which is obviously a total rational reaction to losing one tie against the good side after multiple changes. It's not. It's just... You win some, you lose some. Tonight we lost, but still the season so far is going really well. But I'm gutted about the Carabao. Genuinely gutted. But, I'll take it if we get another pot this year. A certain famous one, big-eared one. Who knows? We might get it, we might not. Guys, download OneFootball. Thank you to all the Patreons. Scott Denham, my Patreon producer. And there's a few people who need a Patreon shout out, and I'll do that in tomorrow's video. For now, though, you're all awesome. End of an era. Genuinely the end of an era. Gutted. Genuinely gutted. But good luck to West Ham.